Hi, it's Eileen Head, the Relationship Whisperer. I'm super excited to be here with you today. I'm going to be sharing some of the secrets of how to attract the love of your life and find lasting love. I congratulate you on looking for the answers to relationship mysteries. So I'm going to get going here. All this technology, share screen. There we go. Even in good relationships, we can get frustrated, hurt, and shut our hearts down. And for singles, you may be holding on to unhealed past relationship wounds. You may have shut your heart down and are afraid to open it again. Understanding who am I and what you bring to relationships, very specifically what you need from your partner and they from you, and a few more steps will lead you to loving yourself, the foundation of all great relationships. Where are you at? You might still be hurting from a past or past relationships, struggling to figure out what happened. Why didn't it work out? That confusion of not knowing that eats away at you. Maybe you have old beliefs. There are no good men out there. Or women have taken advantage of your generosity. Transitioning through a messy divorce, angry and hurting, blaming your past partner, or most damaging, blaming yourself. Wherever you are at, this information is important to you. Why it's so important to stay to the end. I'm going to be sharing with you recognizing and expanding your possibilities by knowing more about personality types and what they bring to relationships. Why learning personalities will give you valuable relationship tools, and how doing your inner work can lead to happiness and getting lasting love. So what are the answers singles are seeking? What makes you attractive and more compatible as a partner? Recognizing other personalities and being able to connect quicker. What personality patterns might be sabotaging you? We all have patterns that we're unaware of, and with more consciousness, we can change those. Saying no thank you sooner. How to build your confidence and self-esteem. This makes such a difference in the dating world because people are attracted to others who have more confidence and self-esteem. Being clear on who would make you the happiest. So are you making these dating mistakes? Getting involved with the wrong person too fast, or staying with them too long? Scare away possibilities because you felt insecure and came on too strong? Obsessed way too long over dates you had who do not call you back? That's one of the hard ones. Like, it seemed to go so well. Why didn't they call us back? Dragged out dates you're not interested in because you're afraid of hurting their feelings. This can send many mixed messages to people and cause a lot of confusion. Being unclear of what you want in a partner and sticking to your boundaries. Dated the wrong person because you feared being alone and that you might be unlovable. When you have a strong foundation of understanding who you are, will give you more confidence. You will be able to use the dating process more constructively. Many of us in the past have been hurt, and we've lost confidence in ourselves, have felt overwhelmed with how do we find the partner that matches us? Until you heal and release old experiences and energy, you will drag that into your new relationships, and your hearts will be closed and guarded. That's no way to start a new relationship or welcome a new love into your life. You are constantly emitting positive and or sometimes negative energy. People with positive energy are much more attractive to others. Are you aware of what you are emitting? So imagine being able to recognize who's compatible with you and fits with your values. Imagine having the confidence, not personalizing the no's, and how to make yourself more energetically attractive to others. Imagine knowing who am I and all the parts of you very specifically and what you need to feel loved, and being comfortable and confident in who am I. Dating can be fun and an adventure when you recognize and know what each personality type brings to you. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I love my career. I love coaching. I wrote a bestseller. I am in 3 anthologies and will probably be in another one shortly, When Women Talk, Rock Off, and Journeys of Discovery. I love speaking at events. I've been on many, many summits. I've been on interviews on TV and many, many, many podcasts. I have lots of resources for you, and I'm passionate about coaching and teaching and sharing. I don't want you to struggle the way I did in relationships, and so I'm passionate about bringing to you lots of different programs. There's a free personality test, a singles guide, an online program called Get Love the Way You Need, which is an excellent program. Should I stay or should I go? What makes people tick? Open Your Heart to Lasting Love, which is going to be released soon. And I do personality readings, singles, individuals, and couples personality readings. How many of you remember the fairy tale Cinderella? And when I speak at events, the women go, "Oh yeah, I love Cinderella." I think it's one of the most damaging myths that we can teach young girls. Think about it. Here we have the fairy tale. This young girl's in a very difficult situation. Along comes a handsome Prince Charming on a white stallion, and he gets down on his knees and he puts on a glass slipper and he takes her off to the castle where they live happily ever after. What's the message in that? The message is that a man is going to come along and make us happy, or a partner, right? And interestingly enough, there's no fairy tale for the men that the princess is going to come along and be focused on their needs and make them happy. Isn't that interesting? I do a lot of coaching with men and as well. And they're so confused as to what us women want and need. We get lots of mixed messages because we're not sure ourselves. So I'd like to tell you a little bit of my story. I met my Prince Charming, or thought it was my Prince Charming, at 16, married him at 18, thought we'd be married forever. And even when we were dating, he was often moody and silent. And that wasn't a red flag for me because I came from parents who did the silent treatment, sometimes for days on end, and so did his parents. So we are attracted to things that feel natural to us, maybe not comfortable, but patterns that we know. We were married for 35 years. And in all that time, I kept thinking, we're going to figure this out. I thought that getting married would fix all that. What did I know at 18, right? And what was so confusing was we were and are great people. And together, there was always this disconnection between us. And I just was unable to figure it out. I would ask him, when he was silent, what was wrong, and he would say nothing. And there was a lot of tension because we both didn't know how to express this or speak up to get our needs met. Have you experienced this in some of your relationships? It sort of felt to me like, when someone's in the shower and the door's all steaming, you can see someone in there, but you can't really see them clearly. That's what our marriage felt like. It was like I wasn't able to connect with them, at least in the way that I needed. He was, I called him my silent partner. I was more talkative than him. And he was a complete mystery to me, and I'm pretty sure that I was to him too. I'd often go to bed at night wondering what it was that caused the shutdown or the disconnection. And I'd go through it in my head. What did I say? Was it what I said? How I said it? Could I say it another way? Should I have said it at all? I drove myself absolutely crazy. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I know a lot of you can relate to this as well. So I did search for answers everywhere. I read stacks of self-help books. Um, you know, I would see other couples and they seemed to have their own language, they were comfortable around each other. When they looked at each other, they looked in each other's eyes and they smiled often. You could feel their energy together. And I think, what's their secret? Why can't I figure that out? There must be a secret to this. And later on, that's why I wrote my book, Why Can't I Figure This Out? As I mentioned, I looked for answers everywhere. I read stacks of self-help books. I took workshops. I read marriage manuals. It didn't give me the skills and tools to understand each other. I would try the languaging, the conversation. That didn't work either. So throughout this marriage, I often felt not enough, not good enough, lonely, powerless to change the situation. And I think for all of us in relationships when they don't work, it's that powerless to change it. You know, sometimes there's parts of the relationship we really love, but the connection part, when we feel powerless to change it, that's a very difficult feeling. And that caused me to feel chronically unhappy. So what happens when we can't figure it out? We feel unappreciated, unloved, and that they just don't get us. We don't feel accepted for who we are and what we bring to relationship. It affects our self-esteem, our self-confidence, and our self-worth. And then, you know, we start retaliating or doing our own behaviors, and we we justify our own actions, and we become righteous about them. And we blame our partner often. If only they would, I would be happy. And, you know, I felt this way for a long time because I didn't have the answers either. And I didn't realize my impact on him either. Oops, I went through that too quickly. When we cannot resolve it, it gets too painful to stay and we give up. And this is when relationships end. And this is what happens, divorce. And that's what happened with us after 35 years of me attempting to work with him. And no matter what I tried, at that time, he just wasn't able to do that. And that's what happens in relationships. You know, one is more willing to work on things than the other. And, you know, that keeps everybody stuck. As I left that relationship, I found the Enneagram personalities. And it was the biggest aha in my life. When I read my profile, it was like reading my own biography, and it was like, these are my strengths. This is what people think is great about me. This is what my values are, what people value in me. And that's what we're looking for in all our relationships. Do you value me? Do you value me? Do you value me? And then it showed me the other things, the challenging things that, they stung a bit when I read them, but I knew they were the truth. And as I read them and learned how I could take those challenges and build them into strengths, that's where your true power is. That's when you grow into the person you're meant to be. I read my ex-husband's profile in about 35 minutes. I knew more about him, myself, and our relationship than in all those years together. And the question I often get asked, if you'd found it sooner, do you think it would have made a difference? It sure might have, that's for sure. So I learned very, very specific information about our couple dynamics, our two personalities together. I'm a two supporter and he's a peace seeker. And when I found out that I need a really close connection, and so I intensely attempted to engage him, which to him felt controlling. So he withdrew to exert his independence and to maintain his identity. I felt rejected with his withdrawal. And for my personality, that feels devastating, especially when all my energy was focused on him and our relationship, which I thought was the way to bring our relationship together. For him, my patterns were too intrusive, and he did everything he could to avoid conflict, which is, you know, he believed that keeping silent was doing the best for the relationship, because for peace seekers, they avoid conflict at all costs to maintain harmony. And this is the dance we did for 35 years, unconscious and unaware. Because of the inability of both two personality types to articulate clearly, many challenges in the supporter peace seeker relationship are hidden below the surface, adding to the confusion. Both believe they are giving up what they want for the other. They are dismayed, frustrated, and feeling unloved, with no idea what the other needs or to collaborate and communicate to create a loving relationship. They are stuck in unconscious response patterns developed in childhood. Only awareness can bring of their personality patterns can resolve this to create connection. And sadly, that was the end of my relationship with my husband of 35 years. But in learning the Enneagram work and doing my own inner work, I have learned to thrive. And people will say, "You have a great life." I have a great life, and I love my life. It's the life that I created. I do a lot of couples country dancing. I went on to a performance team, and we have a whole group of us that dance together, have so much fun. And I've fallen in love with pickleball. And so I'm active in lots of social groups, and I love my life. So opposites attract. Then what? You've heard that opposites attract. Unconsciously, we are drawn to others who will fulfill our needs, desires, security, support, comfort, and of course, love. Opposite energy can create that tension, that creates that attention, that chemistry, that spark and passion, bringing excitement and adventure, and also can bring challenge and intensity. Consciously, we want this other person to have our perspective, our beliefs, and ways of reacting and interacting. We think that sameness is what we want. But wouldn't that be really boring? It would be like having the same note, the same color clothes, the same everything. It is the differences that really bring a lot of the expansion to your life. 2/3 of what couples fight about are personality perspective differences and are irreconcilable unless you understand the fundamental emotional needs of your personalities. It is the different perspectives that most people struggle with, and it can also be the juice in the relationship if you know how to relate and understand each other. So, what is compatibility? Well, the definition of compatibility in a relationship, it's more than just getting along with your significant partner. It's knowing that they recognize your personality gifts, emotional needs, and inner pressures, and you feel they really get you with all of your quirks. You can create stability with any two personality types. You can create compatibility and stability with any two personality types if you understand your similarities and differences and why that is. First, you must understand your personalities together as a couple. Appreciating others for their personality traits will make them feel valued. It is important to understand that in the beginning of your relationship, we're all accommodating to the other person. We soften our boundaries and sometimes our own values. There's the honeymoon stage. We have stars in our eyes. Ooh, someone thinks I'm lovable, and I'm so in love with someone else. This is what romance books are often made of. And if we're not strong in our own values, we will sometimes give up important issues that really matter to us, ending in disappointments. And that's why the most important component in a relationship is common values. Often, on online dating, everybody said, well, there has to be chemistry, there has to be a spark. Yes, and often that on its own is not enough to sustain a relationship. It's the common values, it's the living life with a common lifestyle and beliefs that are fundamental to relationship. So keep the stars and the excitement and make sure that the foundations of living and loving together are similar and workable. Successful, happy, loving relationships depends on your personality, what matters to you, and how you feel loved and appreciated. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Are you ready for it? The common denominator in all your relationships is you. If you've had many relationships that haven't worked out, then you're picking the wrong types. Maybe you haven't done your own inner work. There's lots, maybe you haven't healed for past relationships, so you continue to pick the partner of the unhealed past relationship. This means that you must work on yourself in order to find and attract the perfect partner for you. And you must get rid of the confusion and gain clarity of what you need in a partner. If you have questions, hesitations, or even outright refusals to find and celebrate your own true value, you will be unable to form deep and meaningful relationships. Changing the pattern changes the outcome. And I cannot tell you, I do personal pattern coaching, and it's the pattern that you recognize in other people. It's the pattern that you need to understand, your best patterns and the patterns that are sabotaging you, and change them. I had a client I was coaching, and he made this phenomenal statement. He said, you know what? I'm open to hearing about myself and what might not be working. He said, I would much rather know what it is that I am doing so that I can change it, rather than continuing to do what doesn't work. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that what we all want to do? You know, often clients come to me and say, I need to figure myself out before I keep dating because I keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Response ability. We have the ability to change our response. We have a pattern of responding a certain way. We have a responsibility to change the pattern. It is essential that you claim responsibility for your part in order to refrain from being a victim. As long as we are blaming the other person, that puts us in a victim perspective. When we take responsibility and heal the past, it helps us to make better decisions going forward. Take responsibility for your choices and learn from them. And forgive yourself for making those decisions. That's a big one. We often keep ourselves really stuck by judging ourselves and blaming ourselves instead of having compassion. There are no mistakes. There are just mistakes. And without them, we would not gain the experience to grow. I worked in the film production industry, and they kept doing retakes until they got it right. There were no mistakes. They just kept fine-tuning it, doing retakes. And that's how I'd like you to think about your life. The best place to start realizing your own worth is using scientific data to know yourself through personality profiles. It will give you insights into your unique traits that you bring to relationships, very specifically show you what you need from a partner and they from you, an understanding of who am I, and accepting all the parts of yourself. What are your strengths? What are your foundational values? For your personality, how do you feel loved? Every personality has a fundamental emotional need. If you're in a relationship with someone, you need to know that, and you need to know that for yourself so you can teach a partner. Why you're truly worthy of love and the best way for you to receive it. This is a big one. We often feel so unworthy. There's past issues and childhood wounds that need to be healed. They will continue to come up over and over again. And often we do not feel worthy of receiving love until you do that inner work. Personalities are patterns of behavior, and when you recognize the pattern, you will understand the personality and be able to relate to the person. Personalities are formed in your family of origin by about the age of 7. When you look out on your family and you decide, I need to be a certain way and play a certain role in order to get the most love and attention. Those patterns become roles, the roles become identities, the identities become personalities, and people get stuck in the personalities. When you do the inner work, you're releasing yourself from the box of the personality. Many people will say, well, this is just the way I am. It is not the way you are. It's the way you've learned to be up to this point. And we are constantly growing and learning, or we are very stuck. So here's a little about the Enneagram. It is an ancient body of wisdom that holds the key to unlocking true understanding of the depth of our being and other people in a kind and compassionate way. It simplifies our lives by helping us to understand why we do what we do. This is a well-researched personality model, a well-respected model and world-renowned that's dated back to the 1700s. It is an awareness map of consciousness that illuminates the 9 ways of being in the world, gives deep insight into 9 fundamentally different personality perspectives, each with their own way of seeing the world, their own attitudes and ways of thinking, reacting, and behaving. That's why it's so fascinating. You can grow up in the same household, same parents, and yet be very different personalities with very different perspectives. And if you've ever had the experience of saying, remember back that incident when we were blah, 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 and one person will say, that's not the way it was like this. And another one will say, no, it isn't, it was like that. We filter things through our own personality. When we understand the 9 personality perspectives, the patterns of our lives finally make sense. We experience profound self-acceptance and clarity of purpose, and discover how to love through positivity and find lasting personal fulfillment. And the Enneagram, with being around since the 1700s, it's well respected. It's taught at Stanford University and many universities. They're even trying to get it into the medical program because it has research on illnesses and behaviors and all sorts of patterns, parent, children, siblings, work, all those relationships. It's used in corporations. Every personality has a different leadership style. It helps to bring coworkers together to show them their career currency and what they're really great at. Religions use it. They will attach the sins to the 9 personalities. Therapists and coaches use it. And what's unique about it from all other personality models is that it has a path of development. It shows you specifically what patterns to replace for your personality to become the best person you can be. How do you even know the type of person who would make you the happiest? See, a lot of us are looking for Superman or Superwoman, and we're missing the Clark Kents and the Lois Lanes. Here's an example. The 6 questioner personality. They can appear, especially in early times of dating and first dates, they can appear distrustful, fearful, even pessimistic when you first meet them. Before they are aware of their patterns, they need a lot of assurance and can be seen as uncertain of themselves. As they get to know you better and a trust has been formed, they can be one of the most loyal, supporting, funny, committed, loving partners. They need a partner that believes in them, and then all of their great traits come out. If you didn't know that about their partner potential, you might not pick them for a second date. Here's another example. Are you looking for the right type? And how will you know what's right for you? So many of you, whether it's male or female, you're looking for that 3 achiever personality. They present an image, a successful image with clothes and cars and houses and travel, and they rise to the top of their organizations by determination and long hours. And so it's important to understand in the beginning of your relationship, they'll focus on you and on dating because they want to be successful in their life, and they are looking for a partner that will fit with them. And once that partner is chosen, their attention will be transferred back to working and accomplishment because that's where they feel their value is. And that can result in broken promises, missed dinner dates, where working is a priority. Even going on holidays, they're often still always working. So, when they're picking a partner, and what's cool about the Enneagram is that there's not just one or two personalities that you're compatible with. You can build compatibility with any of the 9 personalities with conscious and awareness, but you will relate to some of the other personalities or how they fit into your life easier. So the 5 contemplator who's more introverted, who likes time on their own, they may, that might make a good partner for them because they like time on their own. And the 3 achievers out achieving, this could be a combination. But there's, like I said, there's many of them, and you need to negotiate some of your values together to step into that middle ground of relationship. You're 2 independent people who come together to form a relationship. And it depends on your combination, and it depends on your awareness and growth as well. In the Enneagram, there's 9 different levels of development. So from very undeveloped to more developed, and to the highest levels. That is why it is important to understand your values and how you feel appreciated. Here's a suggested dating rule. Singles have a list of ever-changing expectations and high standards. The 80-20 rule might be beneficial. Would you be happy if you had 80% of what's on your list? No one can ever fulfill 100% of the list. And that's what a lot of people are teaching now, are these lists, and to be very specific. And if that's not working, I believe that sometimes the list is too restrictive. You may have very high expectations and maybe missing the possibilities of a person who's very different from you and who could open and enrich your life. So many people I know say they ended up with a relationship, which is what they were not envisioning, what they weren't looking for, and yet is absolutely perfect for them. Meredith Shaw, she's an actress. She's on talk shows, met Randy Bowers, who's a famous chef, and got into a relationship with him. She said he's the absolute love of her life. And he came divorced and with 2 children. And she said, that certainly wasn't on my list. And it is absolutely perfect. Do you remember the show with Oprah and Tom Cruise, and where he's jumping on the couch? And remember the show he was in, Jerry Maguire? And the one line in the show was, "You complete me." That, Oprah said, that line did more to damage women and their perception of relationships than anything else. No one else can complete you. So now I'm going to quickly go through little bits about the Enneagram personalities. The 1 perfecter. They have high standards of fidelity, honesty, and charity. They're very organized, rule and detail oriented. They're always improving themselves to be the best partner and relationship. They're often calm, cool, collected, steered by strong values. They are fair, keep promises, and have high integrity to live principled lives. The 2 supporters are warm and inviting. They do things for other people without being asked to create connection, and they're always there for you. They are relationship focused, can be touchy-feely, showers you with affection, and will make you feel cared for and valued. They are focused on their partner's needs and the relationship. The 3 achiever. They're very in tune with those they love and have amazing social skills. They need success in all parts of their lives, both personally and professionally. They believe love is doing things together, being active and productive, and they provide an upscale lifestyle. The 4 expressor is sensitive, kind, deeply caring. They open up to you and talk about their feelings, and they feel and can empathize with your pain. They're focused on romanticized and authentic relationships, sensitive, in touch with, and talk about their feelings, and they bring experiences rich with emotion and meaning. The 5 contemplators are the introverts. They are calm, solution-oriented, good listeners. They are very logical, especially during emotional times. They are grounded, structured, serene, enriches everyone with information and their knowledge. They listen well, are steady, and have an appealing sense of humor. And they don't like small talk. 6 questioners are extremely loyal, very likable, witty, with a sharp sense of humor. They're focused on security, anxious, are prepared and over-prepared for any situation. Honest, fair, reliable, very dedicated once trust has been built, uses logic and has a quick mind and able to react quickly. The 7 optimists, they're full of vitality, great sense of humor, enthusiastic, always positive, open-minded, spontaneous, playful, fun, likes plenty of options, takes time to commit longer, gets antsy, constantly seeks fresh stimulation. And with all these personalities, there's very positive sides and there's challenging sides too. The optimist, there can be challenges because they're always on to the next thing and on to the next things, and sometimes they're not looking at the consequences. The 8 asserter, they're confident and bold and powerful, not afraid to ask for a date, and they go about it in a big way. They make a big impression, always on the go. They have a tough exterior, but they have a very soft heart that they might not show you until you're well into a relationship. Not touchy-feely at all, and they open to vulnerability with a trusted partner. The 9P seeker, easygoing, laid back, undemanding. They're friendly, warm, sensitive, sweet. They're comforting presence, good listener. They're very accepting, non-judgmental, and they bring peace and harmony. Every personality type, as I said, has their positive qualities and their challenging qualities. And so when you work together as a couple and both of you are working on your to grow together, that's when a relationship really can go deep. The Enneagram and the research will give you answers you've been looking for to do your inner work, to transform your life so that you can choose a partner that fits beautifully with you. You know, one of the things that really stops us from experiencing, dating and enjoying it and finding partners is expectations. We set up these expectations and we set ourselves up for failure by keeping ourselves closed to possibilities. And so here are some of those things that might stop us, the expectations that may stop us. We might believe in the fairy tale myth that there is a Prince Charming who's going to come along and rescue us, or a princess. They have to make a certain amount of money. Men are going to look after you and provide for you. Long list of must-haves. Remember, you may be looking for Superman or Superwoman and missing Clark Kent and Lois Lane. For those of you who have that very specific list, here's a suggestion for you. What if you put out to God, Spirit, the universe, whatever it is you believe in? What if you shortened it up with something like this? Bring me a partner who fits beautifully with me and my life, who I can love with my whole heart, and they will love me back. What about that? That would be I think that simplifies it, and trusting that the perfect partner will come with you. And as you grow and you become more evolved, you will attract more evolved people around you. The people around you are a reflection of you. Do you know that? Let me say that again. The people around you are a reflection of you. So if you're very positive, you will have positive people around you. If you're struggling and you haven't healed old wounds and you're reactionary, you will have those types of people around you. Realizations. Depending on what age you are, especially after 40, we've probably had some relationships that haven't worked out. Everyone has baggage. Heal the baggage before you get into your next relationship. Until you own your part in the last relationship, you will continue to be a victim and attract others who are also victims in their own lives. I love this story. I was watching Steve Harvey's. So this is about, are you open? This was Steve Harvey had a show, and you can look it up. It's The Couple Destined to Being Together. And this is when online dating just started, and this gal started an online profile. And this very handsome man contacted her and said, you know, I'm way out of your league, but I really love your smile, and I'd love to get to know you better. Well, that freaked her right out, because she had a belief that good-looking men were players. So, nope, she shut that down, not a chance. So she goes to her friend who's a photographer, and she walks in, and on the wall is a picture of this guy. And she said, who's that guy? He was on my online dating. He contacted me, and he said, he's a very good friend of mine. He's a super nice guy. She said, I think he's a player. And he goes, no, he's not a player at all. He's not in a relationship. He's a wonderful guy. So she whips home. She didn't have the paid program then. She contacted him. They started dating, and then they realized, like, they crossed paths. I think it was 8 times before. You got to watch it. It's really great. So be conscious of how open you are, and maybe you've already been crossing paths with the love of your life. Who can make us happy? When we are looking for someone to make us happy, we put that energy outwardly, putting the responsibility onto someone else. This is what initially scares people. The expectation that we are responsible for making our partner happy. To attract a healthy relationship, you must first be healthy within yourself. What are you looking for in a partner? You're looking for someone to be compatible with your fundamental values and beliefs. Cannot tell you how important this is. Relationships break apart when you don't have shared values and beliefs. They value you for your strengths and gifts you bring to the relationship. And they support you to grow to become your best self. You are in charge of your destiny and journey. It is you who chooses your life experience. Do the inner work. Your life right now is as you have designed it. The outcome will be from the decisions and choices you have made or not made. This is so, so important. When we don't make choices, life chooses for us. It chooses to help us keep stuck. It chooses us to keep choosing the wrong partner until we figure out some of the stuff about us. It chooses us to, relationships don't last because we haven't healed the past. Life is as you have designed it. And the outcome is going to be from the decisions and choices you make going forward. Singles hire me to help them attract the love of their life and identify their unique relationship gifts, because they can sabotage possibilities, feel insecure, and be unclear of their ideal mate. I help them identify what makes them a good partner, avoid dating mistakes, and become confident to date smarter so that they can attract the love of their life and create lasting love. For that to happen, though, you must take action. You must take action. I have so many resources for you to take action. If you go to my website, eileenhead.com, book a free relationship call, take the personality test, start to learn about yourself. And I promise you, I will be there to walk beside you, to help you heal the past, and to create a future where you too can thrive. Many blessings to you on your journey, and I look forward to you taking action and contacting me.